Hello, my health freedom loving friends. Miste, Karlfeldt here with Health Freedom Idaho. I'm here with Representative John Green. I have some questions about what if we stop HB 122. As we know, it's going to the House Ag Committee, and they have to approve that rule change that just happened on the Senate floor. So what happens if they say no to these changes? What will happen to Idaho? Representative Green, can you explain what will happen? I heard that the State Pharmacy Board will then adopt the declassification of hemp from marijuana. Is that the case?
Yes. Well, what'll happen is next in October, I think, the hemp will be taken off Schedule 1, so it won't be associated with marijuana anymore. And when that happens, then the Board of Pharmacy has a time. I think it's between 30 and 90 days. I'm not sure the exact timeline, but within that time period, then the Board of Pharmacy has to reschedule according to the federal standard for Idaho. So at that point in time, basically the hemp would be totally unregulated in Idaho.
So kind of like kratom, where it's unregulated, people are using it, it's not policed.
Correct. There'll be limits. There's some federal limits on things that you can't say on labels. You can't make health claims, things like that. But kratom is still growing in popularity, and it doesn't seem to be a problem for them. Although I think there's probably a lot of work that can be done there. And it'll be the same way with hemp. There's probably still a lot of uses that people haven't found for hemp that once it's not regulated anymore will become apparent, and entrepreneurs will start taking those causes up and getting the product out with more uses.
Okay, and so then if this bill gets killed in the Ag Committee on the House side, how will that affect transportation? I heard on the Senate floor that them saying if we don't pass this, then we're going to come under the federal guidelines of transportation. Is that better or worse, do you think, than the bill that is before the committee?
My understanding is the committee bill now says that basically it would be illegal to transport any hemp products. And that's not good at all. I mean, there are things now that there are hemp products all over the state that you can buy in a lot of retail centers that would, cease to be legal to transport. And that would be just to go cover an individual the same would be for someone that was doing for commercial purposes. So that's not a good situation.
No. And I don't even understand how that could be enforceable. I mean, I really don't.
Logistically, it probably would be hard to enforce, but it's still a practical matter that you don't want to be at risk in any event.
No, I want to be able to buy my hemp parts at Costco and drive them to my house legally.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So then if we come under the federal rule for the transportation, federal law for transportation, then there won't be all these checkpoints and fees. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's controlled by the Department of Transportation for transporting a lot of commercial products in interstate commerce. So the same rules that would apply to shipping all kinds of products across state lines and nationally would apply to these products as well.
Okay, so actually it would free up transportation through Idaho, not restrict it like HB 122, the revised version is now doing, right?
Correct, and that's one of my biggest concerns about the revised version is it hampers transportation to such a degree that it would be dangerous. It would be risky for people to actually transport.
Okay, so if this bill gets killed though, who's really going to be losing out are the farmers, right?
It does. It puts them back a little bit. They would be up and operating probably sooner under the new bill. I think they'll be able to catch up. It's such an important opportunity as a cash crop for farmers in Idaho. Other than the downtime that they're going to experience between now and when it's totally unregulated, it'll hurt a little bit, but I think overall they'll be able to overcome that. And I think it beats the alternatives for the wider application and availability of hemp products for the general public.
Okay, yeah, I agree. And so as far as, the new revised HB 122, from my understanding as far as farming, it only requires a plan to be made. Is it really required for the legislature to ask for the plan, or can Ag come up with a plan on their own without the direction of the legislature?
Yes, those rules will be promulgated by Ag, not by the legislature. Okay. So I think the best option here is to kill HB 122
with this new revised version. This isn't what you guys voted through on the House.
It's not, and I was originally a co-sponsor of the first version, and I and most of my colleagues have removed our names from being co-sponsors.
I've heard that 20-something. 20-something names are being removed from this bill now that it's been revised. So I think that you can see clearly that those that were supporting it, HFI was supporting it, many great legislators were supporting it, and now with these new amendments, it's just been gutted and changed to be something it was never intended to be.
Correct.
Well, I really appreciate the legislators that did bring forth the original bill. I think the intention to do something great for Idaho was there. And, I think if this bill gets killed and we come in line with the federal declassification, that will inspire maybe some legislators next session to do something that's good and proactive and freedom-minded. I
think we're going to look back and, at some time in history, we're going to look back and say, why did we have those crazy thoughts about hemp?
Oh.
But that day is probably coming soon, I think.
Why are we so behind on this wonderful plant? I just don't get it.
Good question.
Well, okay, thanks, friends. I think that's all as far as hemp goes and my live interviews that I promised you I would be doing today. I will be doing a call to action and giving you the emails and who to call, who to email, because I'm certain it'll be heard tomorrow. They want to go home. You guys are supposed to go home Wednesday or be done Wednesday?
Right.
Okay, so most likely it'll be tomorrow. So let's get our typing fingers ready to ask those legislators in the Ag Committee on the House side to vote no.